I'm Richard Leotta, and an impaired driver killed my son, Officer Noah Leotta. My wife and I were both recently retired, and we were sitting there at the kitchen table taking a breath. We had worked all our lives, and now we were sitting at a kitchen table in the morning instead of at an office desk. And we were sitting there, and my wife looked at me and said, we did it. We did it. We're blessed. We have two beautiful children. We have a daughter who's a teacher, doing well, and we have a son who's a police officer, and he's doing well. They both found their niche in the world. They found their way. And I said, I don't know how we did it, but we got there. And so we started talking about our future, that we were going to travel, we were going to enjoy life, we were going to watch them grow and prosper, watch their families grow. And we literally were having this conversation a month before my son was struck by a drunk driver. Noah, he was keenly aware of the issue of drunk driving. It was coming up to December, and there's always a alcohol holiday task force that goes out in December, because during the holiday season, clearly there's more inebriation going on and drunk drivers. So he volunteered for this assignment, and he was the youngest one that was ever assigned to this task force. And he was so proud of it. And I know that because we were walking our dogs, his dog and my dog, down the street, and I know the exact spot where we stopped, and he was talking to me about the task force and what he had encountered actually earlier that week, that he had pulled over somebody, and the person wanted Noah to give him a break. He wanted Noah to let him off. And Noah, as he had told me many times, he said, "Dad, I'm not dealing with bad people. I'm catching them at their lowest moment, and they can change their lives. And if I let them off, it doesn't help them change their lives." So he didn't let him off, but he told him, he said, "You can change your life. You can turn it around if you want to." And that was so important to him. That first contact, being compassionate and caring, was important. But then he also told me, he said, "Dad," he said, "though I'm very frustrated." I said, "Well, what's the problem?" He says, "I'm frustrated because our laws are too weak and our judges are too lenient." Those were his exact words. I said, okay, so you're doing your job, but they're not holding up their end of the bargain when it comes to enforcement. You need to have that other part in lockstep so that what he is doing is effective and making a difference. I mean, Noah had gone out on patrol. He'd gone out on patrol. I had seen him before he went out. He was at the house. And I just told him, "Have a good night," because I never wanted to bring attention to the dangers of his job. But I remember that so vividly. I wanted to tell him I loved him and to be safe. I didn't. Then we get a knock on the door at night from two officers. My wife and I had just gone out and come back from dinner with some friends. We were talking about our kids, how proud we were. And they told us we had to rush to the hospital. They put us in their squad car, and we got to the hospital and didn't leave for 7 days. But the trauma was so great. Noah had pulled over. What we had found out is Noah had pulled over a suspected drunk driver. And when he was out of his car, he was struck by another drunk and drugged driver. So after 7 days, we had to do and make an awful decision. And we had to remove life support. He was not going to recover. But to get there and to do that, I feel it was a blessing that he stayed for 7 days and fought for 7 days to allow us to say our last goodbyes to him. My wife and daughter couldn't be there when they removed life support. It was too hard. But I wasn't going to let him be alone. I was with him when life support was removed. My brothers were there to support me, and his girlfriend was there, wanting to support also. But to watch your child, who you saw take their first breath, to watch him take his last, due to someone who was irresponsible and reckless, somebody who's completely healthy, but having to watch him pass away because of a drunk driver, I wouldn't wish it on anybody, not even the person that struck him. I can't get rid of the memory, and it's there. But I live with it. I live with it every day. And I can be strong on the outside, but very broken on the inside. And that's never going to change. And my wife and daughter, God bless them, they were there the whole time, and we all suffer through this. But as we went through this whole 7 days, the media was trying to get a hold of us. Well, as soon as those 7 days were over, my wife and I left the country. We took a plane, we went with her cousin, and we left, and we sat on an island, on a beach, and cried for a week. And just cried. Nobody knew us there, and we just cried for a week. And we came back, and I made a call. I made a phone call to Captain Tom Didone. He was a captain at the time. Now he's assistant chief. And I said, Tom, I'm not going to be able to hide from the media, but I want to take control of this and make a difference. Who do I need to talk to? And he told us two people. One was a writer, one was a reporter. And that's how we got the ball started. And we were told by the politicians that Maryland had one of the weakest laws associated with drunk driving. And could we help? And we said, absolutely. Now, we didn't know all the history. We didn't know all the frustration associated with this. But we found out. For 7 years, they were trying to get an interlock to have a law that would require this device being installed on the cars of all convicted drunk drivers. This very simple device. This way, this simple device changes behavior. 67% of the time, people don't repeat when they get this device. And it reduces fatalities by 15%. And yet, for 7 years, the politicians in Annapolis fought this tooth and nail. Tooth and nail. They didn't care about the public. They didn't care. The alcohol industry had them. But this time it was a perfect storm. We had the police department, Chief Manger, and all of his staff. We had the public. We had MAD. We had ourselves, and our voices were not going to be silenced. Because, you know what? The memory of Noah and all the victims need to live on. And by getting that law passed, we did get the law passed. And it was 100% passed. Everybody voted in favor of it. So now everybody in the state of Maryland convicted of drunk driving, get this on their car. Get this life-saving device. What better memory is there for Noah and all the victims of drunk driving? That's why Maryland put his picture on this device. So when the people blow into it, it reminds them, this is what it's all about. It's life. He's still with me. He's a part of me. This badge I'm wearing with his number on it, he was wearing this the night he was struck. I wear it every day. Noah is a part of my being forever. He knows because I talk with him every day. Every day I talk with him. And every minute, every day I miss him. But I know he's proud of what he did. He saved a life. By giving his life, he saved a life. How many people didn't die that night because this person struck Noah? MAD has, I never engaged with them until I had to engage with them. They were there. They provided support. They gave us advice as to where we could go to help us with our grief and understanding. The victim support. They're there. And some of that victim support, strange as it is having an opportunity to talk about what happened, to talk to others. It's not just going for support for myself, but it's to explain to others what their actions, their behavior, their poor behavior does, and how it rips apart families, how violent it is in so many ways. So MAD has allowed that. It's not just yes, we are doing things, and I've been working with MAD continually. They have been so dedicated to making sure that we have the legislation and get Noah's Law done. They were with me day and night. And I could tell you, to get that law done, I was there. They called me up. There was one time I came home and they said, Rich, can you get back here? And we sat in Annapolis in the hearing room till midnight. Myself, my wife, my brother, and just sat in the back of the room. We didn't have anything to say. We just wanted them to know we were there, and MAD was with us. I went to a press conference. I got home and said, Rich, somebody said something. You need to come back and we got to do another one. And we were there and they were there with us. Can you help? Can we help? Can we make a difference together? They are a part of my family. Just like law enforcement's a part of my family. They are a part of what's making a difference. If it wasn't for MAD, I would have been a fish without water, because I would have been there, a voice alone. And when you're a lone voice, yes, you can make a difference, but it takes a lot longer to get that traction. So I can imagine when MAD got started, how hard that must have been. But they were there for me, and I'll be there for them because we are making a difference together. And that's what MAD has done for me and my family and all the victims of drunk driving. They're there. They've been there. I can't say enough about them because they understand. The common goal is to prevent drunk driving and save lives. What better thing? What better thing? But that's what MAD has done for me.